Most people want to be in the mix, but I'm comfortable being out of the mix because I'm the one creating the mix. I'm the one that's gonna buy the club that you're gonna party at. I'm the one that's gonna do everything that you having fun, but I'm making money. That's a different mentality. That's a different mentality. For years, we done spent money on sneakers and clothes. What is the ROI on sneakers and clothes? It's a mental thing. The moment you surpass a certain mentality, the moment you get into a better reality.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. Shout out my boy Dominic. Here, moved from Michigan, from New York. That's what's up. But today's episode, guys, we talking about when things fall apart. Today, I want some people to call in and give their testimony of things, trials and tribulations they've been through to get to where they at. Because a lot of times, I meet a lot of people who believe that there is no struggle with greatness. I meet people who believe that success has a straight trail. I meet people who don't believe that becoming, you have to see the ugliest version of self in order to become the best version of self. I meet people who want the greatest things, but they're inconsistent with the things they do opposed to just what they say. Where their actions don't match their words. Where their behaviors say, I want it, but I don't want it. How many times have you ever said to yourself, I'm trying? A lot of times when you say that term trying, you give yourself doubt. And a lot of people, they doubt their own beliefs, what they want. They say they want. You want these things, and why are you saying, I'm trying? Trying is an excuse for a failure. Either we doing it or we not. And we're going to keep doing it till we get there. I don't say the term trying anymore. That word trying has actually left my vocabulary. Because I genuinely believe that people that try ultimately fail. And the reason why I say that is because you're giving yourself, I'm not trying, I'm doing. I'm doing. Everything I say, I'm doing it. The other day I was having a conversation with a guy. He said to me, yo, I seen your little music. I said, no, I seen your little life. He said, what you mean? I said, let me say that again. He said, I seen your little music. I said, no, I see your little life. I said, you talking to a boss. Make sure you talk with your chest when you say that to me. Don't talk no disrespectful. Don't never, ever, ever, and I say this with conviction, don't never, ever let no one project on you and try to dim your light because of what they ain't got going on. Let me say that again. Don't ever allow someone to dim your light for what they ain't got going on. When people use those terms, those are shots. I see your little career. I see your little job. I see you got your little car. When people talk like that, that's shade, that's hate. That is shade. That is hate. But I'm going to tell you something about life. Your biggest hater is closer to you than you truly believe they are. Your biggest hater is closer to you than you truly believe they are. Your biggest hater could be a friend, it could be a cousin, it could be a brother, it could be a sister, it could even be your parents. I've seen parents hate on their own children. Because sometimes I feel like a lot of people, even though they're not deceased, they still believe that they're deceased. I meet people who aren't deceased, but who move and operate like they're deceased. It's internal. They move with no conviction. They move with no urgency. But yet still believing that something is going to manifestate from a garden with seeds you never planted. I'm going to tell you something. I got rich when I stopped pretending like I was rich. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the more I spent on pretending, the more it never allowed me to become. I started making real money when I stopped pretending like I had money. I tell people this all the time. They said, what do you do that the average person don't do? I behave like the 1%. That's why the 1% is the 1%. The 1% are busy acting like they're poor, while 99% is busy acting like they're rich. And that's why the wealthy become the wealthy. Yo, you could be around somebody that has nothing and they act like they got more than what they have. Why do they do that? That's called projecting and insecurities. You could never be secure with where you're going until you get secure with where you're going. An insecure person won't get far. An insecure person will walk into rooms and actually shoot their load in situations that could have actually put him in a better position. That could have put her in a better position. That could have elevated her life. That could have elevated his life. I know people who go in rooms don't have no receipts and talk over the people that got receipts. Listen to that statement again. I know people who have no receipts, and when they go into rooms, they do the most talking. This is the culture, guys. We've become accustomed to failure. Failure is an accepted fate, just so you know that. Because if one can win, two can win. If two can win, three can win. If four can win, five can win. If six can win, seven can win. But a lot of times we don't do what the winners are doing, but we still believe that we're going to win. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing every day, but expecting different results. A lot of people are the hindrance to their own development. Growth requires uncomfortable moments. Growth requires discipline. Growth requiring you shutting your mouth and open your ears. There's some people that out-talk themselves out of a position. They talk so much that they can't even hear themselves think. There are some people that talk so much that they can't hear themselves think. You over-talking in a situation where you need to be quiet. I'm gonna tell you something. The reason why the hood is bad because it's loud. The moment you take someone out the hood and put them into a quiet environment, notice they become greater. It's not the environment, it's because the neighborhood is too loud. You gotta be able to hear yourself think. The best thing that ever happened to me is when my mother moved me to a better environment. I was able to hear myself think for the first time. It got quiet. And then I noticed when I was able to hear myself think, I realized that I was sounding like a goddamn fool. I was sounding like a fool because I believed I was going to be rich doing everything that the broke people do. I believed that genuinely, wholeheartedly, that I was going to fake it till I make it. And the problem with faking it till you make it is you never make it. People that make it are people that's doing the work to make it. And people that won't make it are doing the work that fake people are doing, faking it. So they never make it. People that are successful, they're doing what the successful people do to make it. Unsuccessful people do what the unsuccessful people do, faking it, believing that they're still gonna make it. Look at the level of entitlement that you have in that conversation. You have an entitled mind who believes that I can fake it all the way to success. This is the mentality, guys. But things fall apart for a reason. I think a lot of people don't understand when things happening to you, they're actually happening for you. But while you're complaining about the things that's happening to you, you don't realize that it's happening for you. And why do I say it's happening for you? Because behind every single L, there's a lesson. But if you take two L's and put it together, you get a W. Let me say that again. I don't think somebody in this room heard me right now. You take a L. And Dre, you take another L. You put them together, you get a W. I don't take L's no more, I take lessons. Life is about many lessons. And as you learn forward, you don't learn backwards. Being comfortable failing forward. Being comfortable being disciplined. Being comfortable not doing the popular things that everyone is doing, because the most popular things are usually the loser things. Let me say that one more time. The most popular things are usually the most loser things. Everyone wants to jump on flights and travel. Everyone want to race their resources. Everyone to look like they already won the race when they just started at the starting point. You have people at the starting point who celebrating, and we have a million more miles to go. You have people who are sitting at the starting line cheering themselves like, yes, I did it, and we have a million more miles to go. When you look at a marathon, the whole goal of a marathon to complete is to pace yourself. There are a lot of people who haven't paced themselves. The thing is, they take their momentum, which is their motivation, they run as fast as they can, they lose, win, and then they complain. No, you're supposed to be consistent, you're supposed to be disciplined. You gotta be consistent, you gotta be disciplined. Let me say that again. You take a person, they're at the starting gate. They come out, they run out hard and heavy. You're supposed to pace yourself for this marathon thing called life. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You sprint when you get to the end. You run through the tape. But when the tape is not there, you're supposed to be slowly pacing yourself. That is the story of the tortoise and the hare. I tell everybody on record, I am every bit of the tortoise. Every bit of the tortoise. I am disciplined, I'm consistent, and I'm resilient, and I live in my truth. I don't care what others are doing. I'm so focused on myself, I'm blind to others. I'm so focused on myself that I'm blind to others. I see what people are doing. But guess what? I'm not doing what other people are doing. Because I'm going to tell you something. I asked the guy the other day, and this is what broke him down. He said to me, I want to be a millionaire. I said, you want to be a millionaire? He said, yeah, I want to be a millionaire. I said, do me a favor. Look at just Google. We like to Google everything other than what we should be using Google for. We'll Google for the last night's NBA stats. We'll Google for what is the next wig that's coming out, right? We'll Google all of these things, but we won't Google the things that matter. Look at this. Now you go on Google. Google tells you what are 10 things that millionaires do every day. And there's a person that does nothing of the sort and believe that they're going to be the millionaire. The number one factor of a millionaire is they're disciplined with their money. In black culture, we consider that cheap. But the cheap people are the rich people. And the people that's not cheap are the broke people. But yet and still we believe that we're going to be the exception to the rule. This is where you see narcissism at its best. Narcissistic people believe that they're entitled. A hardworking person believes that I'm going to put in the work, stay disciplined, I'm going to stay down. Because if you take $1 and you put $1 on top of $1, you have $2. Then you take another $1 and put it on top of those $2, you have $3. A disciplined person understands that. If I'm consistent for 100 days with $1, I'll have $100. An undisciplined person says, I'm going to waste all my resources, have fun, but guess what? I'm going to still have money. This is a delusional mind. The mind has become so delusional that we become creatures of our own delusion. Reality is the new delusion of today. People are so delusional that they can't even see their own reality. It is scary how people believe that they're going to manifest greatness by being lazy. First off, we worship a God that is an action God. He believes in work. He says faith without the work is dead. That's what he says. Faith without the work is dead. And a lot of people, they put in no work but believe something is going to happen. Look at the story of the 3 little pigs. You had 3 pigs. One of the pigs was lazy as hell and built his house out of straw. Lazy. He said, you know what? I'm going to build my house out of straw. And what happened? The wolf came and blew the house down. The second one thought he was a little smart. He said, I'm going to do a little bit more work than you. He decided to build his house out of what? Sticks. And guess what? The wolf came and did he what? He blew that house down. The third one said, you know what? Y'all can go have fun. I'm going to take my time and build my house out of bricks. And when the wolf came, he could not blow that house down. Those stories are reality stories of life. That is a reflection of the person that wants to do it easy, a person that's willing to do the medium amount of work, and a person that's willing to do the hard work. When you look at that story in itself, that story is most humans today. They are the first little pig. They're always looking for the easy way. Yeah, everybody I know that made $1 million in the streets ain't got $1 million still. Every person I know that made tons of money in the streets don't have $1 million still. Every person I know that's done anything illegal, they still don't have no money. Look at COVID relief funds, guys. All of these people had all this PPP, SBA, all of this money. And where did it go? It went right back to the retailers because they were spending their money on trying to look like they have money. You do not make money by spending your money looking like you have money. You will never have money spending your money looking like you have money. Let me say that again. I need someone to really hear that. You will never have money spending your money trying to look like you have money. You will only have money when you put your money into assets that actually retain and gain value. That's the only way to have money. If you don't buy anything that's moving up in value, then you will never move up in value. The term equity is what culturally we've run away from. People don't understand what equity is. When you take $1, you put it into something, and over years it gains value. That is called equity. Equity is an appreciating asset. Liability is anything you buy that loses value. We are consumers of liabilities to the point that we don't gain any value. There is never an ROI on anything we buy. The term ROI means return on investment. Everything I buy, I want an ROI. Everybody on my live right now, say that with me. Everything I buy, just write in the comments, ROI. Return on investment. A relationship is an investment. Well, you should be expecting a return. You should be expecting a return. If I'm investing in someone, I expect something in return. And it's gonna sound crazy, but in reality, a relationship is a business. America is a business. So when you're in the land of the business, you learn how to behave like the business. America don't make things personal. America is a business country. Once you hit the criteria, you have the credit and you have the income, you could borrow more money. Let me say that again for those in the back. Stop making it a black-white thing, because it's not a black-white thing. I used to think like that when I was poor as hell. It is not a black-white thing. It's a credit thing, it's an income thing, and you're leveraging equity to borrow more money. That's all it is. It's a switch of a mentality that gets you more money. How do you get more money? Is when you stop wasting your resources on things that you can't barter. Barter means borrow against. I can't barter with a bank because I have nothing to show the bank that I have. So a bank won't lend you. But are you thinking that it's a black thing? Always, you walk in a bank. If you walk in a bank and you got $20 million, you think that bank ain't gonna do business with you? You crazy as hell. You crazy. You crazy. And I sit down every day and listen to black people make every excuse under the sun to the reason of their failing. The more excuses you make, the more reason you fail. An excuse is like the reason to fail. Everything you make an excuse for is the reason you fail. I don't make excuses, I make results. I get it done. Tired, sleepy, headaches, beat, anything in between, I make it happen. Because while you napping, someone getting rich. While you napping, someone getting rich. You gotta be willing to lose sleep for this thing. You gotta be willing to outwork anybody that say they want more than you. You gotta be willing to do what others aren't willing to do to become great. That's the 1%. Most people wanna be in the mix, but I'm comfortable being out the mix because guess what? I'm creating the mix. Y'all ain't hear that. Y'all ain't hear that. Most people wanna be in the mix, but I'm comfortable being out of the mix because I'm the one creating the mix. I'm the one that's gonna buy the club that y'all gonna party at. I'm the one that's gonna do everything that you having fun, but I'm making money. That's a different mentality. That's a different mentality. We create all of these terms that we indoctrinate in our mind to believe that even when I'm doing wrong, I'm gonna blame racism. I'm gonna scratch my head on that. For years, we done spent money on sneakers and clothes. What is the ROI on sneakers and clothes? It's a mental thing. The moment you surpass a certain mentality, the moment you get into a better reality. Let me say that again. The moment you surpass a certain mentality, the moment you get into a better reality. Most people are still doing what they were doing in high school today as adults. You got grown big people who still believe that they're in high school today. This is the issue. Well, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna blame everybody other than ourselves. Ask yourself when the last time you opened a goddamn book. Ask yourself when the last time you read. Since we was kids, they said if you wanna hide it from a black person, put it in a book. And you know what I did? I opened up every damn book so I could find it. Let me say that again. They said if you wanna hide it from a black person, put it in a book. And what I did was open up every goddamn book so I could find it. I said, yo, they gonna have to tie the book down, Drake, glue it to the floor, and I'm gonna pry it off the floor because I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it. Because again, the information, as the mind reads it, it processes it. The problem is people open their phones, social media apps, and they look for entertainment. The minds that are heavily entertained are less educated. Because you're dumbing yourself down. You're sitting there getting dopamines from entertainment, but you're not looking for dopamines, which is gonna elevate your life with education. People are inferior to education. They're inferior to it. They're inferior to it. I had to learn years ago, the only person that could stop me is me. The only person that's gonna not allow me to get to where I wanna get to is me. The only person that can speak an excuse out of my mouth is me. The only person that can continue to complain every day is me. The moment I stop complaining, I start getting results. Because I realize that I want to go to a new level. You know why you see some people and they're comfortable? And then you like, they're very comfortable? Because they got stagnated at what they are. The reason why every day you wake up and you're not comfortable because you're in a position where you feel like you shouldn't be. When we dream, we see flashes of our realities that we're supposed to have. Let me say that again. Somebody ain't hear me. When you dream, that is a flash to what the mind believes that it should have. Every time I dream, I go hard to make it my reality. I spoke the home that I own today into existence. I said I want big double doors. I want a wraparound driveway. I described my house. And I said, God, point me in a direction and I'm gonna do the work. I'm gonna do the damn work. I'm gonna do the damn work. And I'm not gonna timestamp nothing. See, the problem is a lot of us, we timestamp things. Timestamping will discourage you. Timestamping will make you say you wanna quit because things are not moving at the speed you want. And it is selfish to believe that you have the power to get it when you want it. No, you have the power to get it, but not when you want it. Because one thing about God, he knows when you're ready for it. He knows when you're ready for it. I'm gonna tell you something funny. One day the guy said to me, yo, Q, I can't wait to have 100,000. So I looked at him and I said, yo, you wanna hear something funny? He said, what? I said, God gave you 10,000 on your taxes and you blew it. And you blew it. So what the hell you gonna do when you get 100,000? Money only exploits who you are on a lower level. A broke person has a broke mentality. That's why they have a broke reality. Reality is this: the way you behave with little money is how you're gonna behave when you have big money. A clown is gonna be a clown with or without money. A clown without the circus is still a clown. A clown without the circus is still a clown. So money only intensifies who you are. So if you believe that once you start getting money, it's gonna magnify you to be this great individual, if you're done with small money, you're gonna be done with big money. And that's a fact. That's a whole fact. What we say? We used to say a Snapple fact. That's how proven it is. The people that are bad with little money are bad with big money. They're bad with big money. But again, they're gonna keep pointing the finger at everybody other than themselves. The other day, the guy said, he said to me, but you gotta understand, Q, our parents didn't teach us financial literacy. I said, I agree. But your mama didn't teach you how to have sex and you figured it out. Y'all here professional humpers. Y'all here professionally having sex. Some of y'all better than porn stars. And guess what? Your parents ain't taught you that. But you figured it out. So that means if you put your mind to something, what Adam Sandler like to say? You can do it. That's what he said, right? That is diabolical. That's a reality. So for those who are on this podcast today, who second guessing themselves, is start one with you believing in your damn self. Because nobody, and I say this with conviction, nobody's supposed to believe in you more than you believe in you. Sometimes you might sound delusional, you can believe in yourself so much. But the thing about it is you gotta go around people that actually pour into your beliefs, that add value into your dreams. I'm gonna tell you something, I got some crazy friends. One of my homeboys, O'Shane, I tell him I'm buying the moon, he gonna be like, yo, when you gonna get it? Because he know I'm gonna get it done. I got Tyler, I tell Tyler, I'm about to drag it. What you about to do? Yo, Tyler, I'm about to buy the biggest crib in this state, da-da-da-da-da. Tyler like, yo, get me a guest house, I'm moving with you. Then I told Dre, yo, Dre, I need this done. Dre's like, yo, let's do it, because he know it's lit. I don't go around people that don't pour into my spirit. I am a go-getter. And the thing about a go-getter, we play in our mind a lot. A lot of us live in our head. Every ambitious person lives in their head. They created a whole home in their head. And they fighting with themselves. Every single person that's ambitious fights with themselves. It is normal because you're fighting against the person you want to be with the person you are today. And the person you want to be tomorrow, you got to fight that person that they put before you to get to the next person. And you got to keep fighting that person. Every damn day is a fight. And then here comes the emotions. Here comes the emotions. You know what the emotions are? Stress, depression, anxiety. fear, right? Want to keep going? Some days you go out today, you know what happens? You mastered your fear, right? Yeah, I conquer my fear, but guess what you have now? Anxiety. Then you master your anxiety tomorrow. Guess what you wake up tomorrow with, right? Now you're stressed. And then guess what? Some days they jump the hell out of you. Some days you get depression, anxiety, fear, and they all come at once. But I'm gonna tell you what I did with that. You know what I did? I stood in the middle of all of them and said, let's get it. Let's get it. Because I ain't running from nothing. I'm running towards my goals, my dreams, my aspirations, and my beliefs. Because I'm gonna tell you something. What's stopping me from my grave until I go to my grave, I'm gonna keep going every goddamn day. Every goddamn day. Nobody gonna stop me. I don't care. You could type the worst of the worst on Instagram. I don't care. Because guess what? I'm gonna still be me. The moment you accept you for you, you'll stop worrying about what others think about you. I'm too busy living my life for myself to be worried about what other people think about me. My damn children think I'm a superhero. My mother, I know I'm her favorite child. I'm her favorite child. My mother brags about me every goddamn day. Some of y'all mothers don't even want to look at y'all. Some of y'all mothers don't even want to look at y'all. And some of y'all so ugly with y'all ways, y'all don't even like to look in the goddamn mirror. Some of y'all haven't done no shadow work on yourselves. Some of y'all haven't done no mirror work. Some of y'all have avoided yourselves to something. The other day I told a guy, I said, how can something be ugly when we said we made in the likeness of God? If we made in the likeness of God, there is no such thing as ugly. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So if you don't believe that you're attractive and you believe that God has made you in the likeness of him, then you are delusional. It's something for everybody. I might not be somebody's cup of tea, but one thing I do know, I am somebody's cup of tea. And that's how you got to look at yourself. Stop worrying about what others think. The other day, the lady said, I can't afford it. I said, because I wouldn't want to. You got me all the way screwed up. I don't buy children. I date women. A woman is one who do not gloat and brag about how she can take care of herself. A grown-up knows that they're supposed to take care of their goddamn self. I don't buy children. I deal with women. So let's have this conversation. I don't need a little girl. I need a grown woman. You don't never see me on here talking about, I pay my mortgage. My mortgage big too. I got an $8,000 mortgage. A month. A month. You don't hear me crying about no mortgage. You don't hear me, oh my God, Yo, we ain't gonna do that. What we gonna do is we gonna work hard so it becomes easier and easier. Anything of consistency, you become greater at it. You become greater at paying bills. You become greater at responsibilities. You become greater at anything and everything that you consistently do. The more you avoid anything that you're supposed to be doing, the worse you become at. You can become the worst loser on earth. Some people are just good at losing. They're good at it. Some people are good at failing. Some people are good at being inconsistent. They worked on it so long that they got good at it. They're good at it. You got some people that are like full-fledged master's degrees losers. Full-fledged. They've done the work so long, they don't understand that all the time you spend on pretending, you could have been becoming. All the time you spend on pretending, you could have been becoming. You know what I thought one day my mom said to me? My mother told me one day, years ago, she called me a loser. And I looked at her like, what you mean I'm a loser? She said, look at how hard you go to prove to people who have nothing that you have a lot. Listen to that statement. My mom looked at me one day and called me a loser. And I said, why you think I'm a loser? She said, look at how hard you go to pretend you have a lot for people that have nothing. And years ago, it registered to me. Everything I was doing was for the acceptance of others. But the moment I started accepting myself is the moment I stopped looking for acceptance from others. My mom saying it that day planted a seed that manifested into the tree you see today. Let me say that again. That seed my mom planted manifested into the tree you see today. And now I'm starting to spread my branches. Because I realized that the pretending was stopping me from becoming. And the longer I pretend, the longer I'll never become. And that's a reality. Some people believe that they're the exception to the rule. But the rule was created before you was even created. And the more you think you're gonna redefine the rule, the more you're gonna realize the rule will define you before you would define the rule. Watch the narrative. Keep going around losing people and believe that you're gonna change the losers. I bet you them losers change you before you change them. Go to a bad environment every single day, hang out there and see how fast the bad environment change you. Eventually you're gonna change, you're gonna have to. Otherwise they're gonna play in your face. Otherwise they're gonna take advantage of you. And that's a reality. Society is in a space today where we live for people so much that we never live for ourselves. I watch people live for people every single day, but they have never learned to live for themselves. You know the issue I always see every day also? People, right? They do not learn how to live. You know what they do every day? They learn how to survive. Survival has become the normality to the black culture to the point we believe that surviving is winning. But peace comes with living. Greatness comes with living. Because when you realize that the money was never the mission, your peace, your purpose was always the mission. Always the mission. But anyone that believes that the money is the mission, they're gonna realize that they're a slave to money. And the longer you're a slave to money, the longer you'll never be happy with yourself. Because you're never gonna see yourself as anything other than what you are with money. That's like the person that has a job and they don't have no other beliefs outside of their job. They don't think they're nothing else. You ever met a cop that's such a cop that they got, I'm like, damn, you just a cop. That's all they are. They don't know how to do anything other than what they do for a living. Everybody that I've met, that NBA player, all of these people, celebrities I've met, even the ones that fall off, they say the hardest thing is accepting that you're no longer a star. This is why you see a lot of celebrities crash out. And you know why they crash out is because it's hard to accept that you're no longer who you were. And one day, the world was rolling out the red carpet for you. Today, the line, now you gotta get in the back of the line and you gotta wait your turn. But when we get these moments, we don't take advantage of those moments. A lot of people fall from grace because they never prepared themselves to stay in that space. A lot of people fall from grace because they never prepared themselves to stay in that space. The only way to prepare yourself is understanding that you're bigger than what you're doing at the moment. And that's what it is. People talk about generational wealth just for money. What about generational wealth for your reputation, for your family? That's another wealth right there. There are some people whose names are so strong that people will move a mountain to help that person because their name is that strong. They stood on their words. They're consistent with their beliefs. Everything we think is always related to finance. Everything we believe. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Watch this. So the other day, the dude said to me, Q, I think you want to be white. I laughed. I said, I want to be white? He said, yeah. I said, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to be white. He said, what do you mean? I said, I don't want to be white. If anything, I'm looking at the successful, the Spanish people who I witness educate themselves and elevate their positioning. I'm following exactly what they're doing. I watch Spanish people do it. I was born where white people was privileged from the day I was born. So I don't know what white people feel like not to be privileged. But I will say that most white people aren't rich. I will say that most white people aren't educated. I will say most white people aren't successful. I will say they have the same black problems, they just exploit black people more than they exploit themselves. But if you start looking at the statistics, you'll see that they have the similar identity problems that we have. They have drug abuse in their culture, they have everything under the sun just like every other culture. But black people are more exploited. I'm just gonna call it what it is. But in reality, I've witnessed Spanish people legit have nothing and build themselves up. So if I'm a mirror of culture, I'm a mirror of something I've seen change their lives. Spanish people starting to own way more houses. Spanish people are doing really, really well. And if you want to have a real conversation, the average Asian man makes more money than the average white man. Let me say that again. The average Asian man in America makes more money than the average white man in America. But that's what we don't talk about. I'm a witness and watch what others are doing, and guess what? I'm a mimic it. I'm gonna be Kobe Bryant to the Michael Jordan of what I'm watching. If I'm watching Michael Jordan before me, and Michael Jordan is legit considerably a GOAT, why wouldn't I mirror the GOAT so therefore I can get to the levels of becoming a GOAT? I don't have to be better than you, but I want to get close to you. If I stand next to you, I don't care what you can say. I'm one of the best of all time. And that's how I look at it. Because the rule of life is I'm not in competition with nobody other than myself. And every day I challenge myself to be better than what I was yesterday. Every day I wake up just to be better than what I was yesterday. I get up earlier, I get more disciplined, I do the things I need to do, I make sure I execute. Every day is an execution. You're supposed to earn your vacations. When you're on vacation, that's when you're supposed to log off. But when it's time to grind, it's time to grind. Your days off, you're supposed to earn your days off. I know some people that have so many damn days off, you wonder why they, and then they cry about being broke. You're supposed to grind while you're young so you can enjoy when you're older. When we were younger, we were taught that you're supposed to live when you're younger, have so much fun, and then you get older, you broke. I don't know who created that narrative, that a lot of people ate that cheese. The cheese was you're supposed to have so much fun while you're young, and then when you get older, you're struggling because of what your young self did. There's two types of people. There's a story where there was a guy who went to the mirror one day, right, with a picture in the mirror. He looked at the picture, and the picture, he said, you know what the picture is? He said, that's a reflection of where you was. He said, look in the mirror. He said, that's a reflection of who you are. And he looked at himself. He said, what do you mean by that? He said, if you did what you were supposed to do, when you look at your old pictures, you're proud of that young person. When you look at your pictures and you hate your old self, it's because you made poor decisions that your older self is suffering for. Let me say that again. When you look at that picture and you get mad, it's because you did things that you weren't supposed to do when you were younger. You did a lot of things to yourself. But again, when you look in that mirror, you live for today and you start moving forward. Because I'm going to tell you something. The race is over when the final whistle is blown. If there's no whistle blown, why are you stopping? You ain't deceased, you still can go. Because the worst thing about life is not getting back up. The lady asked me the other day, if your son fell off a bike, what you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna watch him get back up. Because in order to build a strong person, they have to see their own strengths. But if your strength is measured on somebody else, that means you're not strong. How are you strong being codependent on somebody else? Weak people, right, always look for somebody to leech off of. Strong people always look for people that's going their direction and add value to it. For instance, yes, you might be going to work. We work the same job, right? But now every day I get in your car, as a smart person, I save money by putting gas in your car so I can get a ride to work. A weak person will find that same person and actually ask that person for a ride, knowing that they'll have no intentions on helping out. You saving me money and I don't want to add value to you because you're already adding value to me. Two different mentalities. One mentality is looking for an opportunity to elevate themselves. The second opportunity is looking for an opportunity to leech off of someone else. Two types of people. I'll give you another one. There's a person that'll say right now, yo, Q, I need $50. Do you have some work I could do for you? Second person is, yo, Q, I need $50. With no intention on doing anything reciprocal to trade value for value. Two different types of people. Two completely different types of people. One is more morally inclined, one is less morally inclined. Why is that? Because people look for opportunities to leech off of people and take advantage of people. Why would God ever bless somebody like that? God put people through punishments just like a parent would. God put people on punishment just like a parent would. God put people on timeout just like a parent would. God takes away privileges just like a parent would. Until you prove to him that you're worthy of what you're asking for. Because with responsibility come great responsibilities. In order to have great results, you got to be able to handle them responsibilities. Because if you can't have a small plate, why am I making you a large plate? You complaining about your small plate, why is he going to give you a big plate? Because I tell everybody on my live right now, I want you to hear to say this and say it with me. It gets harder as you elevate because the air gets thinner and the mistakes get more consequential. Let me say that again. Look at it as a kid. When you're a kid, you know, when you do something bad, you get a small, right? But as you get an adult, Now the consequences are bigger. That is the same thing as you elevate in life. The more you elevate, the consequences get bigger. And the more you lose money as you get older and bigger, the sacrifices and the pain is worse. It's like getting an injury at a later age than an earlier age. You might not heal the same. You might not ever be able to get back. And that's a reality. Someone call in right now, 516-253-1150. 516-253-1150. My guy's about to pin the number up there right now. 516-253-1150. But again, I had to learn the hard way with becoming because I was comfortable with the easy way. A lot of people that choose the easy way is because they never really believed in their dream anyway. You don't mind doing the hard work when you know it's gonna happen. You mind doing the hard work when you don't think it's really gonna happen. Think about that. Every person that skips steps is because they believe that it ain't gonna happen. You don't mind doing the hard work when you know it's gonna happen. You don't mind doing the hard work. Caller, what's going on, caller?
Hi, I'm listening to you right now. You're amazing.
I appreciate you. It's
perfect for the Easter Sunday, but I'm trying to figure out, I love everything you're saying. I have been stuck for a while at the same tier. I'm like, what would you do for somebody who's trying to get like financially like to the next level? Got a good job-ish, flight attendant.
How was your savings?
How was my savings? Yeah, it was okay. Car accident last year, $10,000 disappeared. So I'm like, maybe 1,000 in the bank right now. It's a struggle.
Are you starting to buy any assets like stocks and bonds?
Had some Bitcoin.
I would definitely start putting my money into some positions to make me some money. Like right now, the market is actually down. It's a good buy time now to start buying your good companies, your Googles, your Teslas, your Amazons, your Apples. It's a great time to start investing right now. Great time.
Okay. I absolutely love what you were saying about the person who like gives value with paying for the car ride, and instead of just leeching off of someone, I'm like, I'm that person. So I'm like, I just need to figure it out. Okay, Chelsea said stock.
Yes, and listen, you could also DM me. I will always, and it's free. I will help you.
I can DM you.
DM me, that's not a problem. I don't do this because I'm looking for money.
With this number?
You could DM the TikTok that you on. DM that. Matter of fact, you can text that number. It goes to our business phone line. Text that number, and I'll definitely help you out. That's not a problem.
Okay.
What's your name again? What's your name?
Gabrielle.
Gabrielle, write that down. All right. I appreciate you, Gabby. Give it up for her.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. What I'm realizing is a lot of times we don't realize that we sit down and we have these conversations. And a lot of times you try to give back. And a lot of people don't think that things can be free. I come on here each and every Sunday and I give out game. Each and every Sunday, because I'm trying to teach a mentality. Because I'm going to tell you something. A mentality will outlive any person that leads. Let me say that again. For those who don't even listening, a mentality will always outlive any leader. A king has to eventually pass. A queen has to eventually pass. But what stays if they created a mentality in that village? Y'all don't hear me. Y'all don't hear me. When you are looking for a savior, right? Or a person to lead you, when that person pass, y'all go back to where y'all was, back into bondage. But if you teach a mentality of teaching people how to be free, the village will stay free. But if you don't teach the mentality to the village, once that person is gone, the village fails. Nobody too big for the program. The program has to be everybody. A team is not won by one person. A team is won, a game is won by a team. Everything is won by a team. But the mentality that you create will 4 or 5 generationally outlive you. That's the wealth. The wealth is reprogramming minds to believe that it's better than what it is and is capable of doing things that it thought it wasn't capable of doing. A lot of people don't realize that they can stretch their mind as far as a damn rubber band and let it go, and it might pop you, but guess what? Stretch it again and keep stretching that brain every time. Stretch it. Further your mind, further your education. Read, challenge yourself. Do that extra one more that you believe that you couldn't do. Because once you start doing that one more feel like you ain't doing enough. Did you hear that? Every time you do that one more set, you start realizing that that one ain't enough no more. You gotta be hungry for what you want. You gotta get out your disbeliefs. We gotta stop believing that the mistakes we made are the reason why we gotta stay in bondage forever. A lot of us don't understand. The one thing I love to tell people in my life is when God gave us a chance, he gave us a chance to choose a mate. The one person we could choose is a partner. He allowed us to go find our partners. And the problem is a lot of us go date our traumas. Did you just hear that? When God created us, he said, I'm gonna allow you to go choose who you wanna date. And we go date a person that is every bit of the reason that we stay stagnated in the same positioning. Because it's not about dating a wealthy person. It's about dating a person that believe and act and behave like a wealthy person. That person is more likely to become wealthy. Let me say that again. Y'all not listening, because if you don't have the mentality, you got all the money in the world, you go back to broke. I promise you, it's a mentality. It's a mentality. The NBA player believed that he was gonna be the NBA player before he became an NBA player. The millionaire believed that he was gonna be a millionaire before he became a millionaire. Every successful person already had the mentality to get there. And the ones that didn't, as soon as they got there, they lost everything. Because they never knew how to sustain it. But again, God gave us the ability to go out and find a partner that we could start building with. But we start finding partners that we could destroy each other. That's what we look for. I don't tell people to go out there and go make millions of dollars. But I tell people, go out there and you find a nice partner that actually have the same mentality as you, y'all can get somewhere. Y'all got some differences, but guess what? Y'all do believe the same thing. You want more, they work hard, you work hard. Let their morals in line with you. Because when a person show you their true colors, stop trying to repaint them. Every day I watch people repaint people. And then they mad at the color not looking the way they want. Because before you can repaint somebody, you got to prime them. If that person hasn't primed himself before you painted them, guess what? The colors behind them going to show up again. Let me say that again for those. Y'all not listen, I'm giving you some bombs right now. When you take paint, my job is to prime myself. And when I prime myself, when another person comes along, you can add color on that person. But the problem is if you don't prime that person and you just paint right over that color, you start seeing the color seep through. And what I'm trying to tell you about when you prime somebody is somebody that's willing to listen, somebody that's humble enough to grow, somebody that put God before anything. Those are morals you can't teach. That is a way of life. When those things don't align, you already know you're dealing with the devil. Anything that is not of God is of the devil. So reality is, why am I trying to fix somebody? When God already told me I need to be working on myself. And the person that's supposed to be my mate, guess what? We're going to work on each other. We're going to work on each other. Because I'm not going to exploit you for your flaws. I'm not going to exploit you for your flaws. I might take over the days you're tired and keep building. And the days I'm tired, guess what, sister? You're supposed to keep building. The problem is everybody wants everything that's already complete. And I'm going to tell you something. Every time you chase what's complete, that person will never see you as a partner. That person will always see you as an option. You're never going to be number one to a person that you're chasing because of what they already accomplished. Why the hell would I see you as a partner when you walked in, we're already up 100 points in the game? And you think you're a partner? You ain't no goddamn partner, you leeching. You find someone that is morally inclined with you. You find someone that wants more, that believes in himself, that's disciplined, that you ain't got to tell her, why are you sitting in the house playing video games? Why are you still sleeping with somebody like that? Why you even detain somebody like that? Because I'm telling you something, your trauma will make you marry somebody that carries your trauma too. If you don't heal from your trauma, you will go date your trauma. That's a guaranteed fact. If you don't fix yourself, you're going to go entertain someone that accommodates yourself. If you don't like to hear about yourself, guess what you're going to look for? Someone that don't say nothing to you. If you want nice things, you're going to look for somebody that got money, but guess what that comes with that? Control. He gonna give you some nice things, but he gonna control you too. Because you don't want to go get it for yourself. You don't want to get it for yourself. And then when you're going up, you're gonna find somebody that's in line with where you're going. A lot of us look for all the wrong things when it comes to life. We look for all the wrong things. And I realized that when you're looking for all the wrong things, you're gonna pick up more bad habits when you try to get rid of bad habits because of the fact that you're staying around bad habits. If you hang out with somebody that eat fast food every day, you eventually gonna eat fast food. Every day. You hang out with people that always waste their money, you're gonna waste your money. There was a story that a woman, she went on vacation. And when they went on vacation, they found out Jamaica was about to have this big storm. So the friend said to the friend, yo, we gotta get back to the States. She said, why is that? She said, because there's about to be a storm. She said, I have the money to get back. The friend said, I don't have enough money. In my mind, why travel with just enough to get by? That is a broke mentality. Wasting resources that you could barely afford to lose. I'm gonna tell you something. When you start rationalizing, right? Look at this rational. Tyler, think about this. Let's say if you got enough food to last a week, but you know you don't have no more food for 2 weeks. You eat smaller portions to do what? Stretch it out. That's how you gotta behave with your money. You gotta rationalize it. Let me say that again. When you eating and you know you got enough food for a week, you rationalize it. You say, you know what? I'm not gonna live to eat, I'm gonna eat to live. Two different mentalities. People that eat to live, that live to eat rather, they waste all of their money. They eat crazy. You don't have to have filet mignon. Because I'm telling you, if you can eat peanut butter and jelly for a couple years, you can have steak and lobster. And you can consistently have it because the money that you wasn't wasting on steak and lobster when you really couldn't afford steak and lobster, when you really couldn't afford it. It is nothing wrong with saying, yo, I'm not at the position I want to be in, and guess what? I'm not going to waste my resources until I get there. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And the issue is we worried about what others see us as. The sad part is the people that's laughing about you losing are the real losers. You worried about somebody that's losing, laughing at you for losing. I remember the other day, I got in an Uber. And when I got in the Uber, the guy that was driving is somebody I know. The first thing he said to me was, yo, I only do this because I ain't got nothing to do today. So I looked at him and said, what you mean by that? He said, yo, because I don't do this for a living. I said, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I would never laugh at somebody for hustling. I said, a hustler will never laugh at a hustler for hustling. A broke person will laugh at a broke person for hustling. I would never laugh at a person for hustling. Because again, I don't know what you're doing with those resources. If you're doing the right thing with them, you ain't gonna have to do that for long. But if you're doing the wrong thing and wasting your time, then you're gonna have to do that for a long time. There are some people who cannot survive without at least an 80-hour work week. That is 2 jobs. But when you look at their lifestyle, you be like, damn, that's your problem. Because there are people who make less money than you, but they got more money than you. How is that possible? How is that possible? Ladies, get off Shein. Get off Amazon. They like you so much, they gave y'all prom. They said, we're going to rush it to you before you change your mind. They made everything convenient. You look at you ever have cash in your pocket and you have a credit card? You notice it's easier to spend what? No, the card. You crazy. The card is harder to use. The card is way easier to use than cash. Cash makes you more, no, it's not even close. A card, you swipe. Most people don't even swipe and go look to see what they spent. Tap too. And trust me. But most people, like realistically, the card they've created is actually hurting people. They swipe so much they don't even notice it. And then when you realize that you notice it, that's when you broke. I walk out the house with every day $25 cash. My goal is to make more money. My goal is not to spend money. I have an emergency card with me, and I said that again, an emergency card with me that I carry. I don't walk out the house with a bunch of money because again, it's a conditioning. Sometimes you gotta do the little things so therefore you can make it, you can do better with yourself. But if you don't do the little things will never become the bigger things. People that are broke is because they spend so much time portraying a successful way of life. Why are you rewarding yourself when you lose it? There's nothing wrong with waiting your turn. There's nothing wrong with that. If I'm at a bathroom, right, and there's a bunch of people in line and I gotta use the bathroom, I'm not gonna use the bathroom myself. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hold it. So sometimes you gotta hold it till it's your turn to use the bathroom. And that's how success operates. It's not that you failing, it's that you keep getting out of line and not waiting your goddamn turn. Go ahead, Tyler.
I feel like in this generation now, it's more people rushing in life. Because I noticed one thing in like arts and just being successful. Back in the days, it took like development. Like you had to go through artist development. You had to go through certain things to develop your character, develop your skills. And then, you know, after maybe 5 or 10 years, you'll see some success. Nowadays, it's like people want it overnight.
Because they're watching people who pretend like they already got it overnight. That's why. I sit there and tell you this is years and years of me developing myself to become who I am today. I've lived in rooms. I slept on floors. I've been through crazy stories. But again, I stayed consistent. I stayed disciplined. I remember years ago, me and Dre didn't know what the hell we was going to do, but we know we wasn't going to stop. And then we found Tyler who added on to it. We didn't know what the hell we was going to do, Dre, but we knew we wasn't going to stop. If I tell you the amount of things we've done, I had clothing lines, I had record labels, I've done everything you could imagine. But the one thing I knew, I wouldn't quit. I wouldn't give up. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Even after everything I did, I got better for the next thing that I was about to do. Let me say that again. Even when I was doing something else, I got better for the next thing that I was about to do. And that's why everything now that I'm doing is moving faster and growing quicker. Because it's the discipline, the resilience, the consistency that I learned when I wasn't there yet. People reward themselves for absolutely nothing to the point where they end up with absolutely nothing. The longer you pretend to be, the longer it's gonna take you to become. That's an issue. Yo, what happened? You look at Maria, and I'm not being racist. You take a Spanish woman, she brings her food to work, or a Spanish guy brings his food to work, or an Indian person, or an African person, they bring their food to work. I always tell Americans, the cheat code in America, this is a cheat code, and I want y'all to hear this really well. Any foreigner that comes to America that start acting like an American, they always lose. Let me say that again. Any foreigner that comes to America and they start acting like an American, they always lose. Any foreigner who keeps their mentality from where they from and they still behave like that here, they always win. I always tell people the cheat code in America is to follow what their foreigners are doing because they crushing it right now. Indians, crushing it. Asians, crushing it. Spanish people, crushing it. Africans, crushing it. You could talk all that crazy stuff you want all you want, but there's a lot of people who weren't born here who are doing better than people that was born here, and they've been here half the time they've been here. You got 40-year-old people that have been here 40 years, and you got people that have been here 10 years, 5 years, doing better than you. Because it's the mentality. It's not that they're better than you, it's their mentality. Those people are like, yo, I'm not buying no Gucci, Louis, Prada. For what? They make it in their country. You know what I'm saying? They're like, yo, this is junk. They get here to get that paper and build. Yo, if you see some of these people that you laugh at, right? And a lot of people, they laugh at foreigners. I'm calling it what it is. If you see how some of these foreigners' houses look from the money they built here, they've taken here and built back home, they got the last laugh. That woman, yo, one time I'm sitting there, I promise you, I was at my club, right? There's an African guy, he's sitting in the bathroom. He was sitting in the bathroom every weekend. I thought he was broke. I'm keeping it 100 with you, right? His name is Abu. I promise you, his name is Abu. Abu would sit in the bathroom every single time, and you know what I would say to Abu? I was like, yo, Abu, every weekend you here, and all he does is put soap and turn on the water for you in the bathroom. You wash your hands, he give you a piece of candy, you give him a tip. He take out the chip jar, he do that every night. I said to Abu, Abu, let me ask you a question. What do you make every night? He said, sometimes I make more money than the bottle girls. His wife does the ladies' room, he does the men's room. And he said, yo, Q, every time I come here, I make $500 tax-free. $500. Think about a nightclub. A nightclub prime hours in New York, we just using New York, is between 12 and about 3. That's 3 hours is your prime hours. The nightclub really opens around 10, 11 o'clock. So if the nightclub really, 10, 11 o'clock, you ain't doing nothing. The crowd starts coming in about 12, 1 o'clock. So technically the club closes at 2:30. So Abu ain't really doing nothing. He working about 3-4 hours. He making $100 an hour to sit in the bathroom. Guess what he doing in the bathroom? Watching soccer matches the whole night. Sitting in the bathroom, giving you soap, a hand towel, and now you hear something funny? Most people in America would say, I would never do that job. You see the mentality? The different mentality? And guess what Abu do for a living? Guess what he do for a living, Tyler? He's a nurse. He's a nurse. He makes over 6 figures. He said, Q, my weekends I don't work, but I come in, me and my wife, she go sit in that bathroom, I go sit in that bathroom, we walk out of here with $1,000. $1,000 in 3-4 hours. $1,000. Every weekend they cash in on $1,000. He said, this is what they do. But I love it because I'm only telling this story because I want y'all to understand pride is the reason for most people failure. Too much pride. Somebody just wrote, you watching them. No, I'm telling y'all a story. Oh, I'm about to say. Oh, somebody see okay, I'm about to say. Yeah, but I'm sitting there trying to give you game. I learned from him that, yo, bro, you shouldn't have no ego to make more money. We laugh at people for hustling. That's the mentality. I'm gonna let somebody call in again, 516-253-1150. One more time, 516-253-1150. But again, Abu had the mentality where he was like, yo, I don't have no pride. And now you fast forward, Abu and his wife, guess what? They own a house. Abu and his wife own a 2-family house in Queens, right? They rent out the basement and the other level, and they live mortgage free. He had a plan, executed his plan, chose a partner who saw him as also an asset. He saw her as what? An asset, and they built their lives. The difference of the culture. This is the difference of the culture. The culture is everything working against each other. If you don't have a partner in this economy, you're gonna fail. I'm not talking about a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a husband and wife. I'm talking about even a family. This economy is not designed for an individual. The average person will not survive here without building a team together. I'm gonna show you how simple life is. Watch this conversation. The average apartment in New York is about $2,800. 1 bedroom, right? $2,400 to $2,800. The average 2-bedroom is what? $2,800. About 24, no, it's like 22 to 24 in New York. $2,800 for, let's even round it up to $3,000. I just told you it was, let's say the $2,400. Let's round it up to, matter of fact, well, single bedroom, $2,500. A 2-bedroom was $3,500. I mean, $3,000. So if you look at the $3,000 apartment, if me and you get 2 bedrooms, you pay $1,500, I pay $1,500. I just saved $1,000 by getting an extra bedroom and sharing space with you. And I can use that $1,000 to do what? Invest to elevate my life. Sometimes you got to go backwards so you can go forward better. Sometimes you have to go backwards so you can go forward better. Because it don't make no sense to keep going forward when you don't know where the hell you going. You don't even know where you going and you just going forward. Else, progression look better than no progression. No, sometimes you got to sit still, plan out what you're doing, make it make sense so you can move forward accordingly. Because some people overdrove past their exits already. Some people already drove past their exits. Some people have already drove past their exits. That's the issue, guys. We got to learn to elevate our mentality. We got to elevate our growth. We got to learn to do better. Because I'm going to tell you something, nothing happens, nothing plus nothing will always equal nothing. And the ladies and gentlemen on my live, the men and the women in the mirror are the reason for our failure. It is not nobody. Nobody's holding your legs. Nobody's stopping you. Your family won't work together, so go build a new family. Go build a goddamn new family. For those on my live right now who have a problem with their family, go build a new family. There are people right now who are looking for a partner just like you. But the problem is we worried about how people look. Looks fade, but success will reign transparent. You know who winning, and we know who's pretending. And a lot of people are gonna try to pretend themselves to success. I had to realize, look, God don't give us what he wants, he give us what we need. But we too busy fighting for what we want. He done showed you 1,000 times the person ain't no good for you, but you still gonna fight for it. He done showed you your family ain't there for you, but you still wanna fight for it. He told you that this is something you should move on from, but you still fighting for it. He done told you to move on, but you still fighting for it. You done stayed years and years in bad situations, and now you're complaining about it. What the hell is the problem? You gonna blame the man, you gonna blame the woman, when there was no weapon to your head holding you to stay. Ladies and gentlemen, we gotta make some better decisions and stop complaining about the things that we can change. Because the men and the women in the mirror is the only person that we should be looking at. And anybody and everybody in my life, hear this good. If you're a good person, and you know you're a good person, stop giving access to bad people and believe that you can make them good people. Let me say that one more time. If you know you're a good person, stop giving access to bad people and expecting you to change that bad person to somebody good. Because before, and I mean this with conviction, before you change them, they will change you. I've seen people quiet, humble, laid back people start dating people that aren't happy, and they change their spirits. I know women who are very quiet, laid back, good girls. They dated the wrong person, now they diabolical. I know guys who are good guys, dated the wrong person, now they diabolical. Because you was looking for what you wanted, not what you need. What I need is respect. And when you look for respect, always look for somebody that's also patient. Patience seems to be a lost art. Patience. Because the same way you want God and everyone to be patient with you, you got to give that same grace to others. Find someone who's patient. Yo, do me a favor, Tyler. Go in the Bible real quick and just tell me what the definition of love is in the Bible. And I want to read it off, guys. And now I want y'all, after I read this off to y'all, I want y'all to ask me, have you really ever been in love? Most people have been in lust. They haven't been in love. Most people who believe they was in love, you know what they was in? They was in a situation because of their childhood trauma that made them believe that they was loved. Yeah, you can read it. Slowly, though. I want to emphasize what. Go ahead. First one.
In the Bible, love is defined as a purposeful, sacrificial, and unconditional commitment to the well-being of others rather than just an emotion.
Say it again.
Say it one more time. In the Bible, love is defined as a purposeful, sacrificial, and unconditional commitment to the well-being of others rather than just an emotion.
So when you say you're in love, love is not about you, it's about the others. If you have two people that care about each other to the point where they're willing to sacrifice themselves, that's love. When one person is making a sacrifice and the other person isn't sacrificing, you was never in love, you was in lust. You was in a situationship where that person believed that they needed you, so therefore they used you because of the fact that they wanted to control you or leech off of you. But when you're in a healthy situation, guess what? That person always adds value to you. That person adds value. Because true love is about giving. It's about being there, right? Unconditionally. That's true love. So I ask this again, how many of us really been in love? How many of us been in love? Not a lot of us. A lot of people say, I was. Yeah, okay. More than likely you had some level of traumas that you grew up with. You found somebody that accommodates or compliments it, and you ran with it. You saw all the red flags 1,000 times, but you still ran into bed with the person. And now a lot of us have children by these people, and we complain about it. When a lot of times we are the people that chose these people. When you know better, you do better. And when somebody ain't doing better, you stay away from them until they start learning how to do better. Because you don't make somebody something they're not. Because again, that person will change you before you change them. Till next time, guys. Don't let that go over your head.